back with another video. As y'all can see by the title, I am coming with a very, how should I say, touchy subject. I don't think I've ever, well, I have sat down and told someone the story of, you know, how I experienced it, because I did go through like a couple of months of therapy, because at the time that it happened, I was in high school. And you know, when things like that happen in high school, you know, teachers and counselors, they offer counseling through school. It was free or whatever. I did counseling through school, but I'll get to that part once that comes along. So yeah, this is going to be the story time of the day that my father passed away. Like this video before we get started. Subscribe if you're new. If you're not, welcome back. I know I haven't been slacking on this channel, but I will be uploading a lot more. Give me video ideas, which I want me to post, which I want to see, and I'll go ahead and post it for y'all. But let's get into the video. So it was October 27th, 2013. Yes, that was the actual day. On this day, don't mind my nail, y'all. It fell off literally in the makeup tutorial. But on this day, I'm just gonna tell y'all step by step what happened. Just go down the timeline. So it was about 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning. At this time, and I was 17. I'm 21 now. I'm about to be 22 next month. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and you know when you're asleep and you can hear people talking, but you don't know what they're saying, but you just hear voices or whatever. So I heard my mom and my stepdad talking, and the last thing I heard my stepdad say is, go handle that, go, you know, deal with that. And I don't know what he was talking about. I thought they was just having a conversation between each other. I didn't know, so I was about to doze back off and go back to sleep. And sorry if I get emotional, you know, just bear with me. It has been what, 5 years, almost 5 years. I'm still coping with it. I don't know if I'm ever going to be over it, but yeah. So just bear with me if I get emotional. So sorry if I keep saying a lot, but I was, you know, about to doze back off because it was early. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. It was on a Sunday. Didn't have nowhere to be. I didn't have school the next day. I mean, I didn't have school that day. I didn't work that day. So I dozing back off, and my mom came in my room and she was like, we're going somewhere, get up and get dressed. I'm like, we're not going to church because it's only 7 o'clock in the morning, so where are we going? And I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just like, okay, let me get up and get dressed. And at the time, man, I was on the phone with my girlfriend saying, if you don't follow our couple channel, it'll be in the description below. Go follow that and catch up on our videos. I was on the phone with her. I hung up and I texted her. I was like, I'm about to get dressed and go somewhere with my mom. I don't know where we're going. And I went and got my clothes. I went and took a shower. And I got out I left my phone in my room because, yeah, I didn't hang up yet. So I didn't hang up yet. I left the phone in the room, and Sam was still on the phone. I guess by the time I came back, she hung up. But I took a shower, came back in the room, and people was blowing my phone up. And I'm just like, why is everybody texting and calling me? My cousin called me. She called me a couple of times. She texted me. And my big sister texted me. And that was the text message that I read. The text message said, she called me because my dad's side of the family called me by my nickname, Nene. She said, Daddy's gone. He died. Sorry. But I read the text message, and of course, I'm a water bag already. I became deeply emotional. Like, I dropped dead to my knees, and I just screamed as loud as I could. And by the time I did that, I heard my mom, because the way her house is set up, because I moved out. The way the house is set up is, it was my room, my brother's room across from each other, and her room was on the other side of the house. So I heard her down the hallway, and I heard her tell my stepdad, no, she was on the phone with my aunt. I heard her tell my aunt, oh shoot, somebody done told her, or she done found out. And I'm not processing in my head like, okay, why didn't you tell me already? I was just like, I heard her say it, and she ran down the hallway, and I was literally balled up in a ball on the floor. Had my phone in my hand, still on the text message that my sister texted me. And I was stuck. And she got on the floor next to me, and I felt like I couldn't move, like my body was stuck. And it was so much running through my head, and I was just like, what the hell happened? Like, what the hell? I didn't know what to think, like, sorry. It's still like it's fresh, because it's like, it was my parent, it was my father. But yeah, and I was just stuck on the ground. I couldn't move. It was just like everything was passing by me, and all the thoughts in my head, the memories of my dad, it was just going around in my head. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, what happened? Who did something to my dad? I was blaming everybody, because, you know, I didn't know what had happened. I was 17, lost my freaking dad. So my mom was like, okay, you have to get up. You have to get up. We have to go. And I'm like, where do we have to go? So I got dressed. She helped me get dressed, because I couldn't do it. But she helped me get dressed, and don't mind the shoes back there. I cleaned out the car, and I left baby shoes on the counter. So she helped me get up. We got dressed, and I packed like 2 suitcases full of clothing, because my dad stays 2 hours away from where I live. Well, my family, that side of the family, they stay 2 hours away in Vero Beach. And so I packed a couple of clothes, and I was like, I'm not coming back home. I'm staying down here. Like, I missed school for like almost a month. I think it was a month. I packed a bag, like 2 weeks worth of clothing, and I bought clothes while I was there. But we got in the car, and we drove to my aunt's house. My aunt had already knew, because my mom called her, and I guess they were on the phone talking about it. And we got to my aunt's house, and everyone was in the car, and I'm just like, everybody already knew. I guess my mom didn't know how to tell me, and I don't know when she was going to tell me, because basically her plan was to get me dressed. Let's all pile up in this big SUV, and let's travel 2 hours away to my family's house without telling me. I would have already knew something was wrong. I would have thought, you know, something happened to another family member, not my dad. But we all piled up in the car. Not piled up, because it was an 8-passenger, and it was like 6 of us in there. And, you know, we drove the 2 hours. But as we were driving there, it's this road called 60, State Road 6. I don't know if it's State Road 60 or Highway 60 down there. And I hear my mom talking to my aunt. She drove there. She was like, oh, it happened here. And as we was going down the road, I see like debris on the side of the street. And she looks in the rear mirror, and I'm looking dead like at her. And it hit me. He got in a car accident. And I'm just like, how did this happen? So we get to, what it was is my whole family was at my aunt's house. We get to my aunt's house, and everyone is outside. It was a couple people outside, but my grandma, my dad's mother, my sisters and everyone, they were in the house. And it was like the house was sectioned off. It was my sisters, my brother, my grandma, and my aunts. They were all in that one part of the house. and I walked in the house past everybody. I was like, at this time, it was just like I was numb. I didn't know what to feel. But I walked in the house, I seen my grandma sitting on the couch. And immediately I broke down again. And my grandma sat in the middle. It was like not a love seat, but the other couch that you put next to the love seat in the living room. She was sitting on that, and all the grandkids were like sitting. Keep in mind, my grandma has like 13 grandchildren, including me. But on the couch, it was my grandma, me, I think it was my cousin. I can't remember who was on the couch, but we were all sitting on the couch, and we were all just hugging my grandma, because not even just us losing my father, but she lost her child. So we sat there and we just cried. My mom, my aunt, and my cousins were still there, and I was just sitting on the couch like, oh my God, he's really gone. Like, my dad is no longer here. And it's crazy still saying it, because it's still not processing in my head, still to this day. And that happened 2013, it's now 2018. I don't think I would ever accustom to that, because it's not something that I ever wanted to say or hear. But moral of the story is, what had happened was this is the story from, because it was just one car involved. This is the story from the policemen, state road troopers, and everyone who declares accidents. What had happened was before this, okay, a couple of days before that, he was working. He was a photographer. He was doing work in Orlando here, and he was just going to drive back home. He didn't stop, he didn't rest, he didn't do nothing. He did his job and he was going to go back home. So he was on the way home from here, and I guess he didn't take a nap. And from experiences with being in the car with him, I know he doesn't sleep before he get on the road. He takes 5-hour energies, or he drinks Red Bull. So the state troopers, policemen, and all them said he fell asleep behind the wheel. He did not have a seatbelt on, and the way the road is, it was like a highway from, it was like a state road, but it was kind of like a highway. You can do 60 plus on it. Between the regular highway and that road, when he got off, he was like, I swear to God, y'all, he was like literally not even 15-20 minutes from his house before this happened. He was almost home. And they said he merged, when he fell asleep, I guess it was a deep sleep that he couldn't wake himself out of. He was just that tired. He merged off of the road, and the way the car was, he merged off of the road, went into a median. It was kind of like a canal. He went into the median. The car flipped like this, so it was sliding on the side of the car. The car flipped and went like this into a ditch and hit a pole. And they said he was out of the car. He ejected from the car because he didn't have a seatbelt on. And the windshield, when I went to the scene, you could see the windshield still on the ground, and the pole was on the floor or whatever, on the ground or whatever. And I guess he cut his neck open when he went out the windshield, so it was like a big gash right here. And when we went to go see him at the funeral, we couldn't touch him because they had did surgery on his neck. But that's basically what happened. He fell asleep behind the wheel. He was in such a deep sleep that by the time he woke himself up, it was too late. He had already crashed, and he came out the window, whatever, the windshield, whatever. But I guess the impact was just, too much for his, I don't know what happened. I don't know how they declared him. I guess he died on the scene. I'm not sure what happened. I didn't want to know the details because it was just too vague. I didn't want to know everything. But that's basically what happened. And till this day, me and my siblings, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, even my grandma, his mom, and his dad, we haven't coped with it yet, because if anyone knew my dad, y'all knew who my dad was and how he was. He had the biggest funeral, and in that city, it's a small city. So if you were known, everyone knew you. And he was in, I'm not sure if it was the Army or the Navy or what it was. He was in there for a couple of months to like a year. So he knew people from there. He went to college in Jacksonville. So he had people from everywhere. That funeral was so packed. They ran out of chairs. They had to literally use the, you know, the pews, the benches, and then they had to use chairs in the back. It was so many people there. Some people had to leave. They couldn't even stay because it was no room. But my dad, he was the best man in the world. And I know any daughter would say that about their father, but he truly was. He did his part as a father. He did his part as a husband. He did his part as a son to my grandma. And to know that he's gone is just, it's heartbreaking. And we still don't know how to deal with it. But I mean, it happened. We had to move on. And as I was saying before the beginning of the video, I did go to counseling. I went to counseling for like 2 months because I couldn't deal with it. I blamed myself for a long time because prior to it happening, my dad would always call me and be like, you never call me, you never see how I'm doing, we never talk. If we talked, it was because he called me. Because me being as a young teenager, I never thought to, you know, call my dad. Of course, I would think to call him to speak with him sometimes, but I never thought, okay, let me call my dad every other day or every week. Because I was young and I was just doing a lot. I had a lot going on in life. I was 17. And I wish I would have taken advantage of that timing, because now he's gone and it's like, I can't talk to him anymore. I can't call him when I want to. But yeah, I did counseling for 2 months, and it just took me, it's still taking me a long time to deal with it, but at that time, I was a wreck. I couldn't sit in class without crying. I couldn't be home without crying. And of course, I'm dealing with it now because there's nothing I can do. I just have to deal with it. But I still have a couple of his things. Like I have a rose from his casket, and the funeral company who did the funeral, they gave out like these beanies with his name on it and stuff like that. And I also have a tattoo on my back, and I have the date, the year that he was born, the year that he died, so on my back. But I mean, death is life, and it happens. But I never thought it would happen, you know, to me so soon, especially my father. I've dealt with other different deaths and I've got over them, but never thought I would deal with losing a parent, let alone my dad. And yeah, it's just, I'm dealing with it, I'm coping with it. Eventually I'll be okay, but you know, me being a daddy's girl, it was never so quick for me to like just, okay, yeah, my dad died, okay. I was literally a daddy's girl. I was never a mama's girl. My daddy was everything. I just wanted to come with a quick story time to let you guys know something about me. If you guys want to get more story time, let me know, and I will definitely do a story time for you. And because I do have you know, everyone has a story. Everyone has a lot of stories. And I have a lot of stories. So if you want to know more about me, just let me know. Let me know what you want to see. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow my social media. It'll be in the description below, and it'll also be at the very end in the About Me section. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.